Good girl, cat, see girl. Good girl, cat, see girl.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the MooreMotivation podcast. My name is Kruti Sandhya, and I'll be your co-host today, joined with the president and founder of MooreMotivation and Moore Basketball Clinic, Kendrick Moore. How are you doing today?
Excited, Kruti. Glad to have you back in town. You know, you're going to take advantage of your getting a chance to come home. But it's good to have you back in town, obviously for multiple reasons. But when we get a chance to do these in person, makes our podcast much better. And obviously the audience gets to kind of connect with it more, too. So,
yeah, always grateful to be able to come back home, even if the break is only for 5 days. But with that being said, let's get right into the shout out for today. We always like starting off with that. So what's the shout out for today?
Yeah. So today, what I want to talk about, this is something to the audience. Through my travels, I get to see this a lot, and it's becoming more and more alarming, where people are just following others way too much. Mm-hmm. This idea of fitting in and choosing to do things because others are doing things. I just want to make people aware, because a lot of times, it's gotten to the point where people are just losing their values, losing their sense of integrity, just really, really making some poor choices in the moment that I don't know if they know, but that's going to impact them for a very long time.
Yeah.
So just that awareness today, I just wanted to deliver that message for our shout out. And for anybody that's listening to the podcast, share that. Mm-hmm. Stop supporting the behaviors of those people that are just taken away from their character. Mm-hmm. That's something that we can control, that makes us as individuals better, our immediate surroundings better, which hopefully can spread our wings way beyond that to help us just continue to be people of high character.
100% agree. And going off of that, we know that last week's podcast was very powerful. We got some great feedback on it. Can you just give us a highlight of some of that feedback? Yeah,
I think, again, Troy delivered a powerful one about not being prepared for moments. And, we've discussed this multiple times. It's like more and more people, not only are they just responding now, but just really giving real live examples of how those moments are helping them. Mm-hmm. From people that he knows, friend of mine, listening to the podcast asked to do presentations last minute.
Right.
And while they're on their way, immediately they're listening to the podcast, get a call that, hey, we need you to step in for someone. And while the doubt crept in, the podcast said, no, you're prepared for this moment. Go do it.
Right.
And how that guided them. But again, it's real time. And one of the things Troy said is you can find your answers to the things you need if you just take 20 minutes out of your day and listen to the podcast. So it's really been real powerful in terms of the impact that it's having, but more importantly, people are being able to share it.
And I think one of the things that I took away from it is when you're not prepared for the moment that may come, whether it's a last minute presentation or an interview, you tend to live in more regret that you didn't prepare for that moment.
Oh my God. Yes.
And that will eat you alive. Mm-hmm. So seeing that happen to other people, it's you don't want to be in a position where you're if I had taken maybe 20 minutes out of my day,
right,
I could have been prepared for that moment, because that regret will carry with you for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. So what do you have for us today?
This podcast is going to be, I think, a deep one to a lot of people. I shouldn't say I know it will be. But just the reality, Kruti, and especially to our audience, that no one is coming to rescue you. Mm-hmm. And it's not a threat, but a wake-up call. We have to start owning our own space and being responsible for moving forward. So that's just a preliminary part of this podcast.
This sounds very interesting.
Yep.
Can you talk to us more about what that means?
Yeah. So there's going to be a point in time where, we all need assistance at points, but there's going to be a point in time where you don't hear footsteps coming towards you to help you. Where you might find yourself have drifted so far out to see that there's no one that can rescue you. There's no life preservers that can get out there. That voice that you usually are waiting for that says, man, I got you right now. Like, that's not going to happen all the time. Mm-hmm. And what happens is you find yourself out there, out to sea, just waiting. Like waiting for people, waiting for someone to help you, waiting for someone to understand what you're going through, waiting for them to always take care of your problems. You just find yourself waiting. And in actuality, you just haven't built up that muscle to really go after it. Like your whole life starts to be consumed by people rescuing you in the moment. And more importantly, rescuing you from situations. So that's one of the things I want our audience to understand today. Like that thing is like, that doesn't continue to happen forever. Like sometimes you got to be able to stand up on your own 2 feet and start to swim. So that's where we're going with this one today.
Yeah, I think that's very powerful because even for myself, I can think of me doing that. And it's like you sometimes do it without knowing. Like you're so used to the habit of someone coming in and saving you all the time. Mm-hmm. It's like you're just waiting every single time for it. And it's like, that's not healthy for you or the people trying to save you.
Right, exactly.
So why do you think so many people, including myself, are waiting to be saved versus like trying to help themselves?
And again, the big part, the part of this podcast that we didn't mention at the beginning, it's called SuperYou, right? We got Superman, Superwoman, everybody's coming to the rescue, but the title of this is like SuperYou. Like you got to learn to rely on yourself. And I think out of every lesson that I think I learned at home, I learned a ton of them growing up. One of the most important lessons I learned was to keep going. Mm-hmm. Like no matter what, like keep moving. That was one of the biggest lessons that I learned. Like this lesson of resiliency, like get up and keep going. Just keep giving, just try, keep moving. And what makes that so hard, Kruti, with the question that you asked is that we use that word of being responsible for your actions, right? But being rescued for so many people is so much easier than being responsible. Like sitting and waiting versus doing something, it's two totally different worlds for certain people. They have fallen into a space where sitting and waiting becomes their level of comfort because they're always used to someone coming in and rescuing them. Mm-hmm. And what we need to understand is that key trait that needs to be driven home, that key traits that need to be built is the one of resilience and being able to keep moving no matter what. Like we have to truly understand that. Like really, like you gotta have that sense of responsibility of yourself. Like you got to be able to show up for yourself in those moments. Because again, obviously, as plain as we say, like no one's coming to rescue you. But if you go through that all the time, but if you go through that too many times, you start training your own mind that you can't do it on your own. Mm-hmm. Like, oh no, I don't know how to move. You don't even know how to take the next step. You start training your mind when you go through that part about the rescuing so long. And that's when it becomes worse. Like when it becomes this trained thing in your mind that you don't even know how to, you're capable of it, but you don't even know how to from the mental state to move forward.
Yeah, a key thing I want to emphasize from what you said is like when you were growing up, you were rescuing yourself because if your actions, their results are something you had to deal with. However much you put in is the result you got.
Right.
And that was what you had to accept. Like no one was going to come and like make a magic castle appear.
Right.
And what I see right now being at college is someone will not put in the work to prepare for whatever they want. Someone won't want to do the hard work. Someone won't want to, study. But you'll just magically have your parent make a few phone calls and here you are still with that same job. Or you'll magically have, I'm sorry I didn't study. The teachers will make accommodations like, here's extra time. So I just think this generation has gotten to a point where everyone's so fragile that rescuing has become a common trait. And everyone's just gotten used to it.
Right.
And it seems helpful in the moment, but in the long term, it's detrimental to themselves.
Right.
So that ties into our next question of what actually happens to someone emotionally and mentally when they just never develop this ability of showing up for themselves, rescuing themselves.
So through our works, through our travels, through the different things that go on, when you learn to rescue yourself, all of that. Like I think one of the biggest things that happened is when you continuously do that, you gain trust, right? You gain trust in your ability to do the thing. So what happens is, you can turn that up, check that. What happens is over time, like if all you do is depend on the rescue, depend on someone doing it for you, you really start losing the trust part in your own ability, your ability to show up. So now everything you do, so just imagine that. So first I'm waiting for the rescue. I don't do it over a period of times. I lose this idea. I start training my brain. So now I'm just living in this space where I'm afraid to even move forward now because I'm afraid I don't know how to do it. You start doubting yourself that you can't even take the next step. So that's a big part of it. It's the trust thing, right? That we developed a long time ago. We had to put in those days over and over again to start believing that positive outcomes can happen when we continue to show up for ourselves. Like, and no matter what, again, a big part of that too is understanding it's not only about you. Like you got to find a reason to keep moving forward. And a part of that is about, I got a lot of people relying on me. There's a lot of people relying on me to keep moving forward. And if I stop, that trickle effect is going to impact thousands of people. If I stop if I stop trusting my ability to keep showing up, it's going to impact down the road thousands of people. Right. So it's important for you for your own personal good and for the perseverance of others, preservation of others, that you continue to show up.
Yeah. And it's that feeling, right? When you accomplish something on your own and you put in the work, it's like you get confidence in what you can do and your abilities to achieve your goals. And even though it does seem easier when someone comes and rescues and helps with whatever you want, but you don't know if you did that on your own and you could have done that on your own.
Right.
And that's detrimental to like your confidence and how you move forward. So let's say like people do help you, right? Can those people still expect you to save yourself, or do you think that's unfair?
No, I'm in that position all the time. So I don't think it's unfair that they rely on me, but it's unfair for them to think I'm just going to hold their hand the entire time. You know, I've dealt with many people like that. I'm sitting there like, where did this come from that you have the support for you? Someone is assisting you, but as soon as what? And these are high school, college, older adults. Like, why wasn't that muscle developed? So it's okay for people to have mentors, people to support them. That's going to happen. People, counselors, teachers, everything, that's going to happen. You know, I get a chance to, and I actually Kruti, I love that part, being able to stand up and support people. The problem comes, though, is that because they haven't developed any semblance of that, they're relying on you way too much. And I say this, I got time for all the people in the world. I always challenge them. Like, I got time for each one of you, whether it's a crowd of 100, crowd of 1,000. But at the same time, I need something back. At the same time, you got to show me that you're showing up for yourself. You cannot just keep relying on me, whether it's sending you messages, getting you up, pushing you in the gym, whatever motivating you, etc. I got too many people relying on me. You got to show me something.
Right.
You have to show up, like, at a certain point, even if it's just a little bit. I can work with a little bit. So, it's not unfair for them to think like I can't support people, or people in those positions can't support someone that's looking to be rescued. No, but it's not something that's going to last a lifetime, because a part of my job is to prepare you to be able to perform as an individual. So you got to get out of that at some point.
Yeah. And I was having this conversation with one of my friends back at USC, and we were talking about the kids we mentor. It's like, you got to want it more for yourself than we want it for you. I can't be the one who's pushing you to study your technicals. I can't be pushing you to do everything. You got to want to do that on your own, because I'm going to help you. You have to show me an inch, though, that you want to do this.
Right.
Because that will, if it's only us wanting it for them, it's going to end at a certain point. There's only a finite timeline where external motivation can drive you. We've been talking about being super you for yourself.
Yeah.
What does becoming super you actually look like in real life? So like, not motivational quotes, but like day to day, how does someone become a super you for themselves?
It's when the motivational quotes aren't around, when you're not around people, when it's not about the applause, it's what are you doing? Are you showing up? Are you being disciplined? Are you getting up when it's tough? Not disappearing when challenges happen, because it's that part where the super you begins. It doesn't start in big moments. That's not where it starts. It starts when you're by yourself. Like, what is it that I can get you to intrinsically motivate you to understand the importance of not now. I'm not here for right now. I'm here to prepare you so when I leave, you're okay. So I need you to be able to get up show me that you can get up. You got to do those things, they may seem superhuman, but they're the simple things. You got to be able to do them when no one's watching. You have to develop this level of consistency. You got to be able to handle that level of consistency over and over. You got to show up. And then all of a sudden, you take it from those low risk moments to the higher stake moments. Now you start to develop that muscle where you start showing up in the bigger moments, right? But it starts just really simply behind the scenes. It starts in those everyday moments where you don't feel like, when you don't feel like doing it, the thing that happens is people give themselves a choice not to show up. This conversation is about, you can't give yourself a choice. You have to show up with the small moments.
Very true. And we had the podcast before, like, one of our biggest curses potentially is having choice as human beings. As we come to the close of the podcast, can you wrap us up with this last question of what's the real cost of always waiting to be saved? Not emotionally, but like just over a person's lifetime, if that's just who they are.
We had this conversation about what stole your dreams. And I see it happening to people. I can see it in young people's eyes when I'm talking to them. I hear it from younger adults, and older adults are living with this pain every day. The pain that their dreams become these explanations of why they why they didn't make it. Whenever you talk to them, they have to explain themselves out of why they aren't where they thought they should be. And that's a lot of it is because they always were waiting for somebody else to do it for them. They developed that thing. I talk to them. Everything's about the environment. Everything's about things that they didn't even have could handle, like the environment. The environment did it. No, it was you not showing up. Oh, that thing wasn't in the right place when I arrived there in my life. It's not about it being in the right place. It's about you making it happen. And in long term, it's just the impact on their dreams. It just turns into these explanations. They can explain all day about why they aren't where they should be, or why they don't think they are where they should be. And that's what I said. Going back to the intro, the shout out. When people are choosing to make these choices based on the influences of other people, really deep down inside, they're hoping someone rescues them. Why? Because when I get a chance to talk to people individually or as groups, the feedback and comments I get after them are almost like they're reaching their hand out to me saying, help me. And now I get a chance to, in my mind, fast forward to the adults that I see and say, like, man, was that the same you when you were a kid asking for help, hoping that the world would rescue you? You never developed that resilience muscle. And now as an adult, you're just in full explanation of all of the decisions you made. So I just want to, Kruti, if I can just say it over and over again, even with our pillars, that's one of the biggest ones when we talk about keep going, resilience. Like, we got to find a way to really, truly develop that muscle, because as I started, like, there's no one coming to save you. Mm-hmm. Like, you in that ocean, you gotta start swimming. You gotta start before you drift too far out, and there's no helping. Because at that point, if you get too far out, you can't even hear the people that's trying to help you. And that's the same thing in real life. If you if you don't develop that muscle the way it should be, now help finally comes, someone comes to reach a hand out to you, you can't hear it or see it because you're too far gone. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing to understand with this podcast. We're so grateful to be able to deliver these messages. And as always, we really, truly hope that they help somebody today as you guys listen. So lock in.
This was definitely a powerful podcast. I'm sure the listeners took away something very important. I definitely learned that I need to show up for myself and save myself more. And hopefully the listeners will also make sure they're becoming SuperYous for themselves. With that being said, everyone, thank you so much for joining us again on a Monday morning. And we will be back again next week with another podcast. Bye, everyone. Have a great day.
I just want to thank my son, Kendrick Moore, for dedicating his life to helping our youth. I know it's a tough task, but keep up the good work with Moore Basketball Clinic. I'm proud of the man you have become. I love you.